Yesterday, police don't take it seriously. Russian exile fears for safety in the last 7 days in wake of 2 Russian murder plots in UK. Russia threatens nuclear war. Police contact Russian exiles in UK over safety. Russian exiles contacted over safety after Glushkov murder. UK police worry about Russian migrants after ex-Aeroflot executives murder. Russian Nikolai Glushkov was murdered, then hanged to look like suicide. Putin critic Glushkov murdered. London police say murder inquiry launched into Russian's death in London. Russian Nikolai Glushkov murdered, then made to look like hanging. Police warning to Russian exiles. Who was Nikolai Glushkov? Video. Glushkov's neighbor says she thought he was friendly Englishman. Police confirm that Nikolai Glushkov was murdered. But why? UK police launch murder probe into Glushkov death. UK opens murder probe into death of Nikolai Glushkov. Russian businessman with anti-Putin links was murdered in London. Who was UK-based Russian exile Nikolai Glushkov? Russian Nikolai Glushkov's death in London was a murder. Police say Putin critic Nikolai Glushkov found strangled to death in London, UK. Death of Putin critic associate Sue looks like murder. Video. Death of Putin critic Nikolai Glushkov was murder. Police believe. UK police launch murder inquiry into Russian exiles' death. British police call death of Russian businessman Glushkov a homicide. UK murder investigation over hanged Russian businessman. UK opens murder probe into death of Russian Nikolai Glushkov. Police reveal cause of death for Russian businessman found at home. UK treating death of Russian businessman Glushkov as murder. Police. Britain launches murder inquiry into death of Russian man. UK murder probe launched over death of Russian businessman. Death of Putin critic Nikolai Glushkov was murder. Police believe. UK police say Russian Nikolai Glushkov was murdered and open inquiry. UK launches murder probe into Russian exiles' death. Murder probe launched over death of second Russian dissident. Russian businessman died from compression to the neck. UK calls death of Russian businessman Nikolai Glushkov a homicide. Russia opens probes into Skripal daughter's poisoning. Russian's death. British police launch murder inquiry into Russian exile's death. Didn't look like a natural death. UK police treating death of Russian businessman Glushkov as murder. Police launch murder inquiry over death of Russian Nikolai Glushkov. Death of Russian exile Nikolai Glushkov could be murder. UK police. UK treating death of Russian businessman Glushkov as murder. Police. Death of Russian Nikolai Glushkov being treated as murder. UK police open murder inquiry into death of exiled Russian. UK calls death of Russian businessman Glushkov a homicide. Murder probe launched by police terror unit over Russian death. Police treating Russian businessman's death as murder. Police launch murder inquiry over death of Nikolai Glushkov. Fugitive Russian who died in London was murdered. Murder inquiry over Russian's London death. Murder probe launched into Russian exile Nikolai Glushkov's death. Murder investigation launched after man found dead in New Malden. Murder probe launched into death of Russian in London. Russia launches murder probe into death of Nikolai Glushkov in London. Russia launches murder probe into London death. I'm next on Russia's death list. Berezovsky's old pal definitely killed himself. Maybe traumatized daughter of Nikolai Glushkov goes into hiding. Russian exile's death in London is suspicious, friends claim.